This is the Rays POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Tampa Bay Rays, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
And welcome to the Tampa Bay Rays POSTCAST, your spot for instant Rays reaction after every single game. My name is Jonathan Shields. Sorry for the audio mix-up. Hopefully you guys can find this link. For some reason, the stream just did not work. I don't know what happened. It was kind of like the Rays offense tonight, having kind of no answers and nothing going right. So that was the precursor for what we're going to talk about, because like my audio, the Rays offense was non-existent in this game, and frustrating. The reason why the Rays are not a playoff team is a microcosm of this game. It's either the pitching was solid, and this is one of the best pitch games I've seen from the Rays this year. And it was tough to lose that other stream because there's a lot of really good comments in it. But hopefully, we can get to those. People can come back in here and drop some comments in once you guys get back in here. Again, if you guys are just joining, sorry for the audio problems in that last live. I don't know what happened, but like I said, like the Rays offense was just kind of non-existent. So if you guys are just now rolling back in here, make sure you guys drop those same comments that you had on the last drive live back in here. So in this one, we're talking about how good Joe Boyle was. I mean, when Joe Boyle doesn't walk people, he is scary, scary, scary good. And Garrett just asked, are you able to see comments posted? Should we repost them? Please repost the comments. Unfortunately, I had to make a whole new link because for some reason, the last link, my audio did not transfer over. I just restarted, had to make a new one, and it was fine. So again, sorry everyone for that. For that, but we're going to talk all about it. I'm super high on this bullpen for next year, so we're going to talk about the more positive things toward the end as we look ahead to the rest of the series. But first, we have to talk about just how ridiculously awful this Rays offense was tonight.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Rays score a run 2 batters into the game. That's it. That's the end of the sentence. That's the last time the Rays scored any runs. Not good enough. The Rays from there on get retired. 1, 2, 3. Diaz gets hit. Do not get a hit. Still going until the 6th inning. Yandy Diaz had 2 of the 3 hits. Just not good enough. The Rays tonight struck out. I felt like all they did was strike out. The Rays tonight struck out 18 times. I don't know if I've ever seen a number that high. That is unbelievable. Brandon Lau playing the worst baseball of his season right now. 0 for 5, 4 strikeouts. Junior, 0 for 4, 2 strikeouts. Josh Lowe, who was awful once again. 0 for 5, 3 strikeouts. Nick Fortes, thought he was turning a corner. 0 for 4, 3 strikeouts. Carson Williams, he's striking out over a 50% rate. 0 for 3, another strikeout. Richie Palacios comes in, runner on third, chance to win the game. Doesn't matter. Strikes out. Disgusting. Yeah, just a disgusting offensive performance today. It was one of the worst I've seen by the Rays this season. And you have a chance with the fastest guy in baseball on second base. Get him to third base. Fastest runner on baseball on third base. Your 3 of your 4 best hitters coming up, and you can't get them in. It's the turning point.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Just ridiculous. Brandon Lau comes up, swings out his fastball at his eyebrows, strike 3. We go to Junior, who got hosed on 2 calls, but again, swings at a fastball at his chin, strike 3. And then Josh Lowe, there is not a single Ray that I am more disappointed in this year than Josh Lowe. Besides June or May, besides about half of May and a stretch in the end of August, early September, he has been awful this season for the Rays. Awful. And this was a guy the Rays depended on. And I still like Josh Lowe going into next year. In his last 6 games, he has 1 hit, and he has struck out, let me do this quick math, 10 times. Unbelievable. Not good enough. And I hate dissecting this stuff when the Rays aren't in a playoff spot, but the reason why the Rays aren't in a playoff spot is because this stuff happened way too often. We've talked about the offense that the Rays have put up, and they're so good against the Cubs, consistently putting up pressure offensively. But we talk about the reason why the Rays are not a playoff team. In 162 games, the offense was only good for 55 to 60 of them. I asked the question after the Rays went on their winning streak and started losing a lot in July. What is this team more of? Is it because they're not as good as they were in June, and they're not as bad as they were in July? What is the middle ground? If it falls close to the top, they're going to make the playoffs. If it's close to the bottom, they're going to miss the playoffs. It is way closer to the bottom than I ever would have thought. And the Rays had that stretch where they won 7 in a row, but for 3 of those 7 games, they didn't even play well. And it took sweeping the Nationals and then getting the Mariners when they're on their lowest point of the season for the Rays to do that. And I don't want to discredit anything the Rays done, but man, when you have your best player or your speediest player on third base, Yandy runs as fast as I've ever seen him run. I need to see Yandy's sprint speed from home to first on the infield single. He was moving. And then you have Brandon Lau, who's an all-star this year. Junior Caminero started in the all-star game this year. Josh Lowe, who at 290 2022 2 years ago. And you strike out 3 times. You don't put the ball in play. You strike out 3 times. It's embarrassing. Embarrassing kind of start to this series, what's been an embarrassing kind of stretch outside of a weak stretch since July. And it's been a while since I've been this negative, and I don't like to do it. But, man, when you have 4 opportunities with a runner on third base with less than 2 outs, or 3 opportunities, and you don't get that runner home, you have, in extra innings, 5 opportunities with a runner on third base, and you don't get him home. I mean, that's minor league stuff, man. Just minor league stuff. And I hate picking on one game when, for example, Brandon Lau's been so good this year, but when Brandon Lau is on, he's on. When Brandon Lau is off, he's the streakiest hitter I mean, really I've ever seen. And he's coming off a 3-game hit streak to kind of end his stretch in Chicago, but hitting 213 in September, that number is going to go way down. He already has, if you count this game, 23 strikeouts and 50 at-bats in September. He's striking out at almost a 50% clip in the month of September. It is rough. But I don't want to dwell on this offense anymore. Just frustrating because I personally don't think the Blue Jays are very good. Like when I fill out my MLB postseason bracket, the Blue Jays will be losing the first round. I like the Red Sox, the Yankees, the Mariners, and the Astros, and the Tigers, all in a series over the Blue Jays. And that's no hit against the Blue Jays. The Rays have played the Blue Jays very well. They put up that graphic that said they're like 9-1 in the last 10 matchups against the Blue Jays. It's just not good enough today. And it's frustrating. Thank God the Bucks won, or else we'd be in utter shambles. So we'll talk about Joe Boyle and be more positive. Sorry I was so negative. Part of that frustration was we didn't have any audio for that first postcast, which sucks because you guys had a lot of really good comments in there, and I was really excited to read them. So part of that frustration comes from that. And I hate being hard on players because I know how hard it is to hit a baseball, and I know how much work that they put in. I know no one is angrier than Brandon Lau himself at himself, if that makes sense. So I very much dislike criticizing players, but when they warrant it, like they did today, I can't stay quiet. Like I said, there's a fan in me, and then there's the person that covers the team, like kind of that neutral person. And as a fan, sometimes and as a person who covers the team, sometimes you just got to point the facts. And the facts were the Rays offense not even close to good enough tonight. But we'll be more positive. We'll talk about Joe Boyle. Man, he was good, and why I'm super high on this bullpen going the next year. Right after this. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. And thank goodness the NFL season is here. FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. If you guys thought Baker Mayfield was going to drive 80 yards in 10 plays on that final drive, you could have bet it with FanDuel because they have a live in-game parlay, live betting game, live. You can bet anything live. If you thought Mike Evans was going to catch a pass on that drive, you could have bet it live. That's what makes FanDuel the best. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your very first $5 bet. This episode is also brought to you by Prize Picks. The daily fantasy app where making the right call can actually pay off. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right means cashing in. With football back, Prize Picks is the simplest and fastest way to get in on the action. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections, and you can turn your takes into real prizes, all in less than 60 seconds. I've been playing Prize Picks lately, and it's such a fun way to stay locked in for the whole season. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. The code LOCKEDONMLB, that's code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. And finally, this episode is brought to you by Nutrafol. You've probably seen a million ads for hair growth products and thought, sure, like that actually works. There's so many products out there, and it's hard to know which ones are actually going to do anything. That's why you should give Nutrafol a closer look. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand trusted by over 1.5 million people. And it's not just hype. This is a supplement clinically tested that targets the root cause of thinning and shedding with a proactive approach. And what makes Nutrifuels the best is simple to add to your day. 4 pills with a meal, no prescription. It's easy. See thicker and stronger hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering Locked On MLB listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter promo code Locked On MLB. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code Locked On MLB. So if you guys are on the live, make sure you guys leave a like and a comment. We'll be getting to those momentarily, but let's talk about some positives. How good was Joe Boyle tonight? I'll tell you how good he was. 6 innings, 3 hits, 5 strikeouts, and the biggest thing for Joe Boyle, no walks. When he doesn't walk anyone, he's basically untouchable. And good for Joe Boyle, man, because he went back to the minors. He needed to work on stuff. In August, he had almost a 10 ERA. And you know why? He had 12 walks in 14 innings. Not good enough. If you go to July, that number started creeping up more. In his last 4 starts, he walked at least 2 guys, and the walks were always just came around to hurt him. So when he doesn't walk anyone, he's basically unhittable, and that's what you saw tonight. No free passes from Joe Boyle as he continues to maybe prove why he should be in the rotation next season. He's going to be super interesting. I mean, the Rays, when you look at it, just guys that are going to be here next year. You're going to have McClanahan, Pepio, and I'm already forgetting someone. McClanahan, Pepio, and those are and Rasmussen. I don't know how I could forget Rasmussen. Those are the 3. No matter what, they will be in the rotation, barring injury. And prayers for Shane McClanahan that he's back. Will Shane Baz be in the rotation? I lean yes because the staff's super high on him. Are you going Ian Seymour? Are you going Joe Boyle? Are you really signing Adrian Hauser? Are you bringing in another starter from free agency? That's kind of 4 options for that technically 4th or 5th last spot. Joe Boyle is really throwing his hat into the ring for why one of those spots should belong to him. So shout out to Joe Boyle really stepping back up. And let's talk about this bullpen. Clevenger, Baker, Fairbanks, Jax, throwing Uceta in there. That is 5 guys that are going to be on this team next year that I trust all in big spots. Now, Baker got touched up for the run, but when the offense gives you 1 run of support, you're going to give up a run eventually. So that's why I'm not even mad at Kevin Kelly for giving up his run. Like, you can't do anything. Made a good pitch. Springer just made a better swing. But when you look at what the core of the Rays bullpen is for next year, I think Clevenger is the single most underrated reliever in baseball. Pete decides everyone crucifying him. It has like 26 saves, and he's going to end the season with a sub-3 ERA. I mean, I don't know how much better you want Pete to be. Brian Baker has been stellar since his first few blow-up outings, and Griffin Jax, I believe this is like his 4th straight outing without giving up a run. Even longer now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. His last 6 outings, he has not given up a run. Since September 2nd, he hasn't given up a run. This is the Griffin Jax that we're getting. Super high on this bullpen going into next year. Let's look ahead at the game tomorrow because Ryan Pepio, happy to see him back on the mound for the Rays. He'll be going up against Jose Barrios, who's 11-10, 3.5 ERA. When you're looking at who's going to be the game 1 starter for the Blue Jays in the playoffs, I would give the ball, like now they're probably going to give it to Gosman, but Jose Barrios is that good to where you could give him the ball. His last time out against Houston, 5 1/3, 2 earned, but his time before that in Cincinnati, he gave up 6 earned in just 2 innings, his worst start of the year. He did pitch against the Rays earlier this year in a loss. He went 6 innings, giving up 3 earned runs against the Rays. In that game, the Rays got on him with he's pitched against the Rays twice. In his most recent one, the Rays got a big home run from Junior Caminero in the first inning, and that kind of led them to victory. Shane Baz was pretty good in that one for the Rays. He pitched against the Rays twice this year. The other time, he went 5 1/3, gave up 5 earned runs. So the Rays have hit him twice, very well twice this year. Brandon Lau and Jonathan Aranda got on him in that game. That was a game where Junior hit the go-ahead home run, which was just electric. But yeah, let's go ahead and look at the comments, see what you guys thought as we go. Jack Hicks says, really feels like the Rays got robbed whenever they gave themselves a chance. Yeah, I mean, the Rays just didn't do anything good enough to win this game offensively tonight. As we go to Doug's Bautista, brutal. Chandler on third, no outs, 3 straight Ks. Yeah, I mean, that is just about as brutal as you can get. Douglas again says, we all knew the bullpen was depleted. Kelly was the only option. We knew he was going to give up a hit. You can't hang on him. And he didn't even throw that bad of a pitch. I mean, Springer made a great swing. You get to 0-2, throw a slider. There's pretty fine location spot, and Springer made a good swing. Let's go to Gary. Says we'll miss the Rays in the postcast once the season ends. So why? You guys are all of us are going to eventually miss. We're all going to miss the Rays and miss these frustrating losses that the Rays always end up cultivating. Alexander says 18 strikeouts is crazy. It's insane and not good enough at all. Just simply not good enough. Let's go to Gary. Says reasons to watch the Rays these last 2 weeks. Junior attempting to pass Carlos Pena, single season home run record. Struggled to finish over 500, and additional experience for Carson Williams and Bob Seymour. Yeah, I would love to see Bob Seymour play more. I really would. As we go to Alexander, says, if you could trade for one right-handed outfielder next year to help boost the team in 2026, who would you think of? This is a fantastic question. Trade? It all depends on the price point available. Like if I could trade for one right-handed outfielder, I'd trade for Ronald Acuna Jr. But obviously he's not going to be available. There's a few guys that interest me and that are going to be free agents. There's the guy on Cleveland. He was with the Nationals for a while, and I'm blanking on his name right now. I'm gonna go see if I can find it. He was with the Nationals. Got sent to the Guardians at the deadline last year, and his name is, maybe he's not on the Nationals or on the Guardians. Maybe I'm blanking. Maybe he's just hurt. Anyway, his name is escaping. But there are a few right-handed outfielders that are gonna be in the Rays price range that are going to be free agents this year, because John DeLuca was supposed to be that guy for the Rays, and Everson Pereira has more at-bats than him this year. Just never thought I'd say that sentence. So we go to CTX. He says Josh will never be that guy. Time to move on. He has one more year from me. Honestly, I think the Rays will give him one more year. I think he has one more year. Next year is going to be his make or break year. But I don't blame you for thinking like that. As Lane Thomas, thank you, Gary, for saying that, for finding that for me. So Alexander said, I want to see Morel play more this last part of the season. Unfortunately, he didn't. I don't know why they're not playing Chris Morel. Like, yeah, I would play him. I would play him over Josh Lowe right now. I'll tell you that much. Their batting averages are pretty similar. As we go to Gary says, trying to be optimistic about Shane's return, but worries me hasn't pitched in an MLB game since. Yeah, I mean, the one that should not be named has played in a Rays uniform most recently than Shane McClanahan. Yeah, and it is a very fair reservation to have about Shane McClanahan. But I believe in him. I believe in his willingness to get back, and his want to. His want to. So, if you guys have any more comments, make sure you get them in as we start to wrap up here. If you guys are in the live, please make sure you guys leave a like. Thank you guys for all these comments. At least the Bucks won. I don't know if anyone in here is but I assume there is a few people watching, a lot of people watching that are Bucks fans, because you guys are also Rays fans. But big Bucks win today as well, saving us from complete just mental disparity, because like all of us, sports completely control our emotions and everything. So no new comments rolling in here. I appreciate all your guys' comments. One more from RWB says Hauser has earned a shot in 2026, in my opinion. I agree. I talked last postcast about how much I like Adrian Hauser, and I would love to see him get an extended look in 2026. But again, if you guys are in the live, make sure you guys leave a like before you get out of here. Same time tomorrow night, same time all week. The Rays play at 7 every single day, 7 to 7:30 every single day until Sunday. So around 10 o'clock, 10:30 for postcast. Again, these guys, they're running out. 2 weeks left of the season. Only about the Rays have 13 games, 12 games left now. So yeah, you guys make sure to tune in for as many of these postcasts as you can. So we'll get out of here. You guys leave a like and comment. I'll see you guys tomorrow night.